My sister demanded she gets to walk down the aisle at my wedding first, so I said yes, but never clarified what I was actually saying yes to. My sister Claire has always been the drama queen of our family. She's 29, single, and convinced the world owes her a fairy tale wedding, despite never keeping a boyfriend longer than 3 months. Her longest relationship ended when she tried to plan their wedding after 2 dates. When I announced my engagement to Michael, Claire's reaction was immediate and predictable. She burst into tears at the dinner table, dramatically declaring how unfair it was that her younger sister was getting married first. According to her twisted logic, she deserved to experience wedding bliss before me since she was older. But Claire didn't stop at just complaining. 2 weeks later, she showed up at my apartment with the most ridiculous demand I'd ever heard. She wanted to walk down my aisle first in a full wedding dress to practice for when she finds her soulmate. She claimed it would help her visualize her future and give her the confidence to find true love. My parents, who have always enabled Claire's dramatic tendencies, thought this was the sweetest thing they'd ever heard. They called me crying, begging me to let Claire have this magical moment. They even offered to pay for her dress and photographer to capture her practice walk. I thought the whole thing was completely insane, but I surprised everyone by saying yes. Claire squealed with joy and immediately started planning her elaborate entrance. She spent weeks researching wedding dresses, booking hair and makeup appointments, and practicing her bridal walk in our parents' living room. What Claire didn't realize was that Michael and I had decided months earlier to have a simple courthouse wedding. We wanted something intimate and meaningful, not a big production. The aisle she'd be walking down was actually the sterile hallway leading to the judge's chambers, about 8 feet of fluorescent-lit government building corridor. I told Claire to meet us at the courthouse in her dress for what I called the pre-ceremony rehearsal. She was so excited she could barely sleep the night before. She'd convinced our parents to spend $3,000 on this massive ball gown that looked like it belonged in a Disney movie, complete with a 10-foot train and enough beading to blind someone. The morning of our wedding, Claire showed up at the courthouse looking like she was ready for the Met Gala. The security guards were visibly confused as this woman in an enormous white gown tried to navigate through the metal detector. Her dress was so big she had to go through sideways while holding up the train. She strutted down that depressing government hallway like it was the runway at Fashion Week. The fluorescent lighting made her dress look oddly yellow, and she kept posing for selfies next to random courthouse fixtures, the Employee of the Month poster, the fire extinguisher, and even the water fountain. Other people waiting for their court appearances couldn't stop staring. There were folks there for traffic violations, small claims disputes, and divorce proceedings, and they all watched in bewilderment as Claire posed dramatically near the restroom sign and asked random strangers if they thought she looked bridal enough. Meanwhile, Michael and I slipped into the judge's office for our actual ceremony. It was simple, quick, and absolutely perfect. Just us, the judge, and 2 witnesses we'd asked to join us. No drama, no spectacle, just 2 people promising to love each other forever. When we emerged from the judge's chambers as a married couple, Claire was still in the hallway taking photos and practicing different walking styles. She had somehow managed to convince a janitor to throw imaginary flower petals in front of her as she walked. The moment she realized what had happened, Claire's face went through about 5 different emotions in rapid succession. First confusion, then shock, then pure rage. She screamed that I'd tricked her and humiliated her in front of strangers. I calmly told her the simple truth. She'd walk down my aisle first, exactly as requested. Claire's eyes filled with tears, but they weren't sad tears anymore. They were rage. She pulled out her phone and made a call right there in front of everyone. I heard her say my name, followed by wedding sabotage. When she hung up, she smiled coldly and informed me that my 4 bridesmaids were actually at my reception venue right now. They'd been working with her for months, and I should check what they'd just done to my cake. The words hit me like ice water. Michael's face went white and he grabbed my hand. "What did you say?" I asked Claire, but she was already turning away, her massive dress train sweeping across the courthouse floor like she was making some grand exit. "You heard me," Claire called over her shoulder. "Have fun at your reception." Michael and I didn't even stop to think. We practically ran to his car, our marriage certificate still warm in my hands. I tried calling the venue manager while Michael drove, but nobody picked up. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold my phone. "She's bluffing," Michael said, but I could hear the uncertainty in his voice. "She wouldn't actually." "You don't know Claire," I said. "She absolutely would." We made it to the venue in 15 minutes, a drive that should have taken 30. The parking lot looked normal. Nothing seemed out of place. For a second, I thought maybe Claire really was just messing with us. But then we walked inside and I saw them. 4 women I'd trusted, standing around my wedding cake with their phones out, laughing. The cake was completely destroyed. Red food coloring was smeared everywhere, dripping down the white tears like blood. They'd literally taken fistfuls of frosting and thrown it at the thing. The top tier was on the floor, crushed. The decorative sugar flowers I'd spent extra money on were scattered across the table like confetti. "Oh my God," one of them said when she saw us. It was Jessica, my maid of honor, or I guess, former maid of honor. "You weren't supposed to get here yet." "What the hell did you do?" Michael's voice was low, dangerous. I'd never heard him sound like that before. The 4 of them exchanged glances. Then Ashley, one of my college friends, actually shrugged. "Claire paid us to sabotage everything. $2,000 each. She told us you tricked her, made her look stupid at the courthouse. So you destroyed our cake?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You actually agreed to this?" "It's just a cake," Jessica said, like it was no big deal. She was still holding her phone, probably had been filming the whole thing. Besides, Claire said you deserved it for humiliating her. I looked around the room, and that's when I noticed it wasn't just the cake. The centerpieces I'd carefully chosen, these simple but elegant glass vases with white roses, were shattered on the floor, glass everywhere. The decorations I'd hung myself the day before were torn down, ripped to shreds. Streamers and fairy lights lay in tangled piles in the corners. What else did you do? Michael asked. His jaw was clenched so tight I worried he might crack a tooth. Oh, you know, Brittany said. She was examining her nails like she was bored. Just followed Claire's instructions. Nothing personal. My phone rang and I almost dropped it. It was the venue manager, Catherine. Hello? I'm so sorry I missed your calls. I was dealing with an issue with your vendors. What issue? But I already knew. My stomach was in knots. Someone called yesterday claiming to be you and canceled everything. The DJ, the catering order, and they requested we throw out all the flowers. I tried calling you to confirm, but the number they gave me was disconnected. I didn't process any of it because it seemed suspicious. But then I found out this morning that your photographer was removed from our vendor list weeks ago. Someone logged into the planning portal with your credentials and deleted them. I felt like I couldn't breathe. When is this? When did someone delete the photographer? Let me check. About 6 weeks ago. The system logged the IP address if you need it. 6 weeks. Claire had been planning this for 6 weeks. Maybe longer. Catherine, I'm at the venue right now. Can you come down here? I looked at the 4 bridesmaids, who were still standing there like nothing was wrong. We have a situation. Michael was on his phone too, I realized. The catering company confirmed they got a cancellation call yesterday, he said when he hung up. They were confused because the caller knew specific details about our order. They had our full names, the venue address, even the menu we'd chosen. Claire, I said. The rage was building now, replacing the shock. She's been accessing our planning files. For how long? Michael asked, but I didn't have an answer. Catherine appeared from her office, took one look at the destroyed cake and the broken centerpieces, and immediately understood. Oh no, this is bad. Your guests are arriving in 2 hours. Can we fix this? I asked. Please tell me we can fix this. She was already pulling out her phone, fingers flying across the screen. I can call our emergency catering service. They do pizza and basic party food. We have an in-house sound system you can use instead of a DJ. But, she paused, calculating. I'll need payment up front. The emergency services charge a premium. How much? Probably around $1,500 for food and setup. I can give you the house speakers for free since this is clearly not your fault. I pulled out my phone to check our bank account, the one Michael and I had set up specifically for wedding expenses. My heart stopped. Michael, look at this. The balance was $5,000 lower than it should have been. $5,000. Gone. What the? Michael leaned over my shoulder. When did that happen? I scrolled through the transactions. 3 days ago. 2 withdrawals. One for $3,000, one for $2,000. And then I remembered. The joint account. The one I opened with Claire when we were planning that big wedding we never had. I never removed her access. She stole $5,000 from you? Catherine looked horrified. Guess that's how she paid for the dress, Michael said bitterly. And probably how she's paying these for. The bridesmaids had gone quiet now. They'd stopped laughing and taking pictures. I think they were starting to realize this wasn't just a harmless prank. You need to leave, I told them. My voice was surprisingly steady. Right now. We're not leaving, Jessica said, crossing her arms. Claire gave us permission to stay and enjoy the party. We did her dirty work. We deserve something. You destroyed our wedding and you think you're staying for the reception? Michael looked like he wanted to throw them out himself. Get out before I call the police. For what? Ashley laughed. We didn't steal anything. We just redecorated a little. Catherine stepped forward. Actually, this is private property and you're trespassing. The venue is rented to the bride and groom, not to you. If they want you gone, you're gone. Whatever, Brittany said, but she was already grabbing her purse. The food's gonna suck anyway. They left, but not before Jessica turned around at the door. Claire said you'd react like this. She said you've always been dramatic. The door slammed behind them, and I just stood there, looking at the wreckage of what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. The cake was ruined. The decorations were destroyed. We had no photographer, no DJ, no real food, and 40 guests were showing up in less than 2 hours. Okay, Michael said, taking a deep breath. Okay, we can fix this. Catherine, let's order that emergency catering. I'm going to run to that party store down the street and get whatever decorations I can find. I'll help clean up the glass and the cake, I said. My voice sounded hollow. Catherine nodded and pulled out her credit card terminal. Let me get this order in right now. I gave her my credit card, the one that still had money on it, and watched the numbers on the screen climb. $1,500 for pizza, breadsticks, and a basic veggie tray. It hurt, but what choice did we have? Michael kissed my forehead. I'll be back in 20 minutes. We're going to make this work. After he left, I started cleaning. Catherine brought out trash bags and we swept up the broken glass from the centerpieces. The cake was beyond saving, so we dumped it, tier by tier, into the garbage. All that money, all that planning, just gone. I was scraping red food coloring off the table when I heard voices in the parking lot. My parents. They were early. Please no, I whispered, but it was too late. They walked in, took one look around, and my mom's face went pale. What happened? Dad asked. Then he saw my face and immediately his expression changed. Was this Claire? She paid my bridesmaids to destroy everything, I said. She canceled our vendors, stole money from our bank account, and basically sabotaged the entire reception. I expected sympathy, maybe even an apology for raising Claire to be such a nightmare. Instead, my mom crossed her arms. Well, you did humiliate her at the courthouse, Mom said. What did you expect? She was so excited about her moment and you made her look ridiculous in front of strangers. I stared at her. Are you serious right now? Your sister is devastated, Dad added. She called us crying, said you promised her something special, and then made a fool out of her. You could have just let her walk down a real aisle, you know. Would that have been so hard? She wanted to walk down my aisle, I said, and I could feel tears building. At my wedding, in a wedding dress, like she was getting married instead of me. How is that normal? She just wanted to feel special, Mom said. And look what you've done to her. She spent $3,000 on that dress. She spent my $3,000, I corrected. She stole it from our wedding account. Oh, I'm sure that's a misunderstanding, Mom said, waving her hand dismissively. Claire wouldn't steal from family. She literally just paid 4 people to destroy my reception, I said. But theft is where you draw the line? Catherine had stopped cleaning and was watching this exchange with wide eyes. I could tell she was uncomfortable, but I appreciated that she stayed quiet. This was family business, as messy as it was. If you want us to stay for this reception, you need to apologize to your sister, Dad said. Like it was simple. Like Claire hadn't just committed actual crimes. Then leave, I said. The words came out before I could stop them. If you're going to take her side after everything she's done, then just leave. I don't want you here. Sweetie, Mom started. I mean it. Get out. They looked at each other. Some kind of silent parent communication happening. Then Dad shook his head. You're being unreasonable. When you're ready to be mature about this, you can call us. They left. My parents walked out of my wedding reception 2 hours before it was supposed to start because I wouldn't apologize to Claire for her sabotaging me. I sat down on the floor, right there next to the table where the cake used to be, and cried. Catherine came over and sat next to me, didn't say anything, just sat there while I fell apart. Michael came back about 10 minutes later with 3 shopping bags full of streamers, balloons, and cheap plastic tablecloths. He took one look at me and dropped everything. What happened? My parents left, I managed to say between sobs. They want me to apologize to Claire. For what? For getting married? He sat down next to me and pulled me into a hug. Babe, I'm so sorry. They don't even care what she did, I said into his shoulder. She destroyed everything and they're mad at me. We sat there for a minute, maybe 2. Then Catherine cleared her throat. I hate to interrupt, but we have 90 minutes before guests arrive. Michael stood up and pulled me to my feet. Right, okay, let's do this. For the next hour and a half, we transformed that venue into something that looked halfway decent. Michael hung streamers while Catherine and I blew up balloons. We covered the tables with cheap plastic cloths and used the balloons as centerpieces. It wasn't what I'd planned. It wasn't even close, but it was something. The pizza arrived with 30 minutes to spare. Catherine helped us set up a makeshift buffet table. We had pepperoni, cheese, veggie, and a pile of breadsticks that honestly smelled amazing. There was a basic veggie tray with ranch dip and some cookies the catering company threw in for free. Michael figured out the sound system and connected his phone. I'll make a playlist, he said. It'll be fine. And then guests started arriving. Michael's family came first, his parents and his 2 brothers. They took one look around, understood immediately that something had gone wrong, and didn't ask questions. They just started helping, greeting other guests, directing people to the food and drinks. My friends came next. College roommates, work friends, a few cousins who were firmly on my side of the family divide. They noticed the missing cake, the cheap decorations, the pizza instead of the catered meal we'd promised. But nobody complained. And then the bridesmaids' friends started showing up. People who knew Jessica, Ashley, Brittany, and Lauren. I watched them whisper to each other, pointing at the decorations, at the pizza. One of them was on her phone, texting rapidly. Then I overheard it. She deliberately planned to ruin Claire's chances at happiness, someone said. A girl I didn't recognize, probably one of Jessica's friends. She tricked her own sister at the courthouse, made her look like a fool. Claire's devastated. She deserves everything that happened here. Several people nodded, and then they started leaving. Just walking out. No explanation, no goodbye, just gone. I counted 8 people who left within the first 20 minutes. 8 people who believed whatever story the bridesmaids had been spreading. Let them go, Michael said quietly. He was next to me, watching it happen. Anyone who believes that crap without hearing your side isn't someone you want here anyway. His best friend Josh came over with a plate of pizza. So I'm guessing there's a story behind all this? My sister is insane, I said. That's the short version. Cool. Need me to do anything? Actually, yeah, Michael said. Can you DJ? My phone is connected to the speakers, but I need to make some calls. I got you. Josh took Michael's phone and headed to where we'd set up the makeshift DJ booth. A minute later, music started playing. Something upbeat, nothing too wedding-y. It was perfect. Michael's family had essentially taken over hosting duties. His mom was greeting people at the door, his dad was helping serve food, his brothers were making sure everyone had drinks. They made it look like this was exactly how we'd planned it, like pizza and balloons were always the vibe we were going for. I was standing near the bathroom, taking a breather, when my cousin Jenna found me. She's 19, one of the few cousins who wasn't ancient or an infant. Hey, she said, looking nervous. Can I talk to you for a sec? Sure. What's up? She glanced around, making sure nobody was listening. I need to tell you something about Claire. She tried to recruit me, like 3 months ago. My stomach dropped. Recruit you for what? To help with this. Jenna gestured vaguely at the reception. She said she was planning to teach you a lesson. Make your wedding day just as miserable as you made her feel. She wanted me to be a 5th bridesmaid. Said she'd pay me $1,000 to help sabotage things. What did you say? I told her no, obviously. I told her she was being crazy and that what she was planning was literally illegal. She got mad at me, said I was taking your side like I always do. Jenna pulled out her phone, but I kept the text messages. All of them. I figured you might need proof someday. She showed me her phone and I started scrolling. The messages were from 3 months ago, right around the time I'd finalized the guest list. Claire had sent dozens of texts, laying out her entire plan, how she'd access the wedding planning portal, which vendors she'd cancel, how much she'd pay the bridesmaids to destroy everything. It was all there, in writing. Can you send these to me? I asked. My hands were shaking again, but this time it wasn't from sadness. It was anger. Already did, Jenna said. I sent them to your email before I even came here. I also saved screenshots on 3 different cloud services because I don't trust Claire not to try some kind of hacking thing. You're amazing. You know that? I just really don't like Claire, Jenna said with a shrug. She's always been terrible to you. I'm glad you're finally seeing it. I hugged her, probably harder than necessary. While I was looking through the messages Jenna had sent, documenting everything, Michael came back with his phone pressed to his ear. He looked stressed. Yeah, she just admitted it on camera. He was saying to whoever was on the other end, the venue manager has the footage. Uh-huh. Yep, okay, thanks. He hung up. That was the bank. They're filing a report on the unauthorized withdrawals from your joint account with Claire. They said it's technically fraud since you didn't give her permission to use the account for her personal expenses. Good, I said. It felt good to say it. Good to finally be doing something instead of just letting Claire get away with everything. There's more, Michael said, and his expression was weird. Angry but also kind of satisfied. I checked the parking lot cameras. Claire's here. What? She's in the parking lot right now. Catherine said she's been trying to get in through the kitchen entrance for the past 30 minutes, but the staff keeps blocking her. She's still wearing that ridiculous courthouse dress. Part of me wanted to go out there and confront her, but a bigger part of me just wanted to enjoy what was left of my reception. Let Claire scream in the parking lot. Let her pound on doors and make a scene. I was done giving her what she wanted. Let her stay out there, I said. If she tries to come inside, Catherine can call the cops. Already told her that, Michael said with a grin. Catherine is not messing around. She's got the kitchen staff on high alert. We went back to the reception and honestly, it had gotten better. Josh was playing music that actually got people dancing. Michael's brothers were doing some kind of ridiculous dance-off that had everyone laughing. The pizza was actually really good, and people had stopped talking about the missing cake and the cheap decorations. My Aunt Diane, my mom's older sister, found me near the food table. She pulled me aside, and I braced myself for another lecture about family harmony or whatever. Instead, she said, I saw the videos. What videos? Of Claire, in the parking lot. Someone posted them in the family group chat. She showed me her phone, and there was Claire, looking absolutely unhinged in that massive wedding dress, pounding on the venue's back door and screaming about being robbed of her special day. Her makeup was smeared, her hair was falling out of whatever elaborate updo she'd had it in, and she kept yelling that younger siblings shouldn't get married first. Oh my God, I breathed. Your mother is losing her mind, Aunt Diane said, but she was smiling. She's been texting everyone trying to get them to take the videos down, but you know how the internet works. Once it's out there, good, I said again. That was becoming my favorite word. Your parents have enabled Claire for way too long, Aunt Diane continued. I tried telling them years ago that they were creating a monster, but they wouldn't listen. Maybe this will finally make them see it. I doubt it, I said honestly. They already tried to make me apologize to her. Aunt Diane's expression hardened. They what? I told her everything. About the courthouse, the sabotage, my parents showing up and demanding I apologize before they'd stay. Aunt Diane's face got redder and redder as I talked. When I finished, she pulled out her phone. Excuse me for a minute. I need to call your mother. She walked away, already dialing. Through the noise of the reception, I could hear her voice rising, sharp words about enablement and favoritism, and something about family therapy. The reception continued. People danced, ate pizza, laughed at Josh's questionable DJ skills. It wasn't what I'd planned, but it was actually kind of perfect. The people who'd stayed were the ones who actually cared about us, the ones who weren't there for Instagram-worthy photos or fancy cake. They were there because they loved us. Michael's best friend gave a toast using a plastic cup and the cheap speakers. It was funny and heartfelt and made everyone laugh. One of my college roommates told an embarrassing story about the time I tried to cook Thanksgiving dinner and nearly burned down our apartment. People clinked their plastic cups together and someone threw confetti that was definitely just torn up napkins. Around the time we were supposed to cut the cake that no longer existed, Michael pulled me onto the dance floor. Josh put on something slow, and we just swayed together while everyone watched. I'm sorry today was so messed up, I said into his shoulder. Are you kidding? This is the best wedding I've ever been to, Michael said. No fake smiles, no pretending to like people we don't like, no boring traditional stuff we only did because it's what people expect. This is just us and the people who actually care. You're just saying that. I'm really not. He pulled back to look at me. Yeah, your sister is psychotic and your parents are delusional, and we had to eat pizza instead of actual food. But look around. Everyone here is having fun. Real fun, not obligation fun. This is better than any stuffy formal reception would have been. He was right. The reception was supposed to end at 10, but people stayed until almost midnight. Catherine didn't even charge us extra for the extra time. She said after everything we'd been through, we deserved it. The bridesmaids tried to come back around 11. They showed up at the front door, demanding to be let in. Catherine told them to leave or she'd call the police. They argued for a few minutes before finally giving up and leaving. That's when I found out they'd been posting about the reception on social media all night, telling everyone how cheap and pathetic it was, how we'd served pizza like it was a kid's birthday party, how there was no real cake. They posted photos of the destroyed cake before we'd cleaned it up, but they'd cropped out the red food coloring to make it look like it had just fallen apart naturally. One of them, I think it was Lauren, had posted a long rant about how I was a bridezilla who'd overreacted to a harmless prank and kicked them out over nothing. She had comments from people I'd never met, strangers agreeing that I sounded terrible. Michael saw me looking at my phone and gently took it away. Don't read that stuff. They're just trying to justify what they did. They're lying, I said. Everyone's going to think I'm the bad guy. Everyone who matters knows the truth, he said. Let them post whatever they want. They'll get bored eventually. But I couldn't let it go that easily. I went to the bathroom and locked myself in a stall and started taking screenshots. The posts, the comments, the photos, everything. I documented every lie they told, every detail they twisted. I saved it all. When I came out, Jenna was waiting. You okay? Did you see what they're posting? I asked. Yeah, it's bullshit. She leaned against the counter. Want me to post the real story? I don't know, I admitted. Maybe I should just let it go. Or, Jenna said slowly, you could create a document, like a Google Doc or something, with all the evidence. The bank records showing Claire stole from you, the text showing she planned this for months, the venue security footage of the bridesmaids destroying your cake, the videos of Claire melting down in the parking lot. Just lay it all out there. That seems extreme, I said. So is paying people to sabotage your sister's wedding, Jenna pointed out. She had a point. That night, after we got home from the reception, still wearing my wedding dress that somehow had pizza sauce on it, I sat down at my laptop. Michael was in the shower, singing loudly and off-key, probably still riding the high from the reception. I opened a new Google Doc and titled it, What Actually Happened at My Wedding, and then I started writing. I included everything. The courthouse trick, which I admitted was petty, but not malicious. Claire's demand to walk down my aisle in a wedding dress. The sabotage plan that had been in the works for months. The stolen money, the canceled vendors, the destroyed cake and decorations. The bridesmaids who'd been paid off. I embedded screenshots of the bank transactions showing the unauthorized withdrawals. I included portions of the text messages Jenna had saved. I described what the bridesmaids had done, with timestamps and details. I added photos of the destroyed cake, the broken centerpieces, the red food coloring everywhere. I didn't post it publicly. I sent it to my immediate family members with a note that said, "This is my side of the story, with evidence. I'm not asking you to pick sides, but I am asking you to know the truth before judging me." I sent it and closed my laptop. Whatever happened next would happen. Michael came out of the bathroom in his pajamas, saw me sitting there, and sat down next to me. "You okay?" "I just sent a detailed breakdown of everything Claire did to our families," I said. "I'm either going to regret this or feel vindicated. Probably both." "Good," he said. "They should know." We went to bed, but I couldn't sleep. My phone kept buzzing with notifications, people reading the document, people responding. I finally turned it off around 2 in the morning. The next morning, my phone had 63 unread messages. Most were from family members I barely knew, cousins and aunts and uncles who'd gotten the document through the family grapevine. Some were supportive, some were shocked. A few were angry that I'd aired dirty laundry like this. My mom had sent 12 messages, each one more panicked than the last. She wanted me to delete the document immediately. She said I was making the whole family look bad. She said Claire was having a breakdown and it was all my fault for humiliating her. My dad sent one message. "This is incredibly immature." Aunt Diane sent, "Finally someone is holding that girl accountable. Your mother is having a meltdown, but honestly it's about time. Let me know if you need anything." Over the next few days, the fallout continued. My parents called a family meeting that Michael and I refused to attend. Apparently Claire showed up and spent 3 hours crying and claiming the document was full of lies, but several people had already verified the bank records and text messages. My mom kept calling, begging me to take it all back. She said Claire was so upset she couldn't get out of bed. She said I'd ruined Claire's life over a wedding that wasn't even real. "The wedding was real, Mom," I said during one of these calls. "I'm actually married now. Remember? You know what I mean," she snapped. "You had pizza at your wedding." "Pizza? And now you're punishing your sister because she was hurt that you didn't want a real ceremony." "She stole $5,000 from me," I said, trying to keep my voice level. "She hired people to destroy my reception. She canceled my vendors and deleted my photographer. That's not being hurt, that's committing crimes. Family doesn't call the police on family," my mom said, which was rich coming from someone whose daughter had literally paid strangers to vandalize a wedding reception. "I didn't call the police," I pointed out, "but I did document what happened so people would stop acting like I'm the villain here." "You need to take that document down," my mom said, her voice hardening. "Delete it. Let this whole thing blow over." "No." "Excuse me?" I said, "No, Mom, I'm not deleting it. Claire did this, not me. She planned it for months and she followed through with it. If she's embarrassed now, that's her own fault." My mom hung up on me. She'd never done that before in my entire life. 2 weeks went by. Michael and I started settling into married life, which mostly looked like our regular life, but with better kitchen appliances we'd gotten as wedding gifts. We started looking at apartments, thinking about maybe getting a dog, and then Claire showed up at my work. I was in the middle of responding to an email when security called up to my floor. "Hi, there's a Claire Sullivan here to see you." Should I send her up? No, I said immediately. Tell her I'm not available. She says she'll wait. Tell her she can wait all day if she wants, but I'm not seeing her. Security called back 10 minutes later. She's refusing to leave the lobby. She says she's not going anywhere until you talk to her. I grabbed my manager, explained the situation as briefly as possible, and asked if I could work from the conference room where Claire couldn't see me from the lobby. My manager, bless her, just said, "Take the rest of the day from home. I'll let security know to remove her if she won't leave voluntarily." I grabbed my stuff and headed for the back exit, the one that led to the employee parking garage. I made it to my car without incident and drove home, constantly checking my rearview mirror to make sure Claire wasn't following me. When I got home, Michael was already there. He'd gotten off his shift early. "Your sister tried to get into the building," he said. "The doorman called me. She told him she was family and needed to talk to you about an emergency." "What did you tell him?" "To not let her up under any circumstances. I also told him if she shows up again, call the police for trespassing." He pulled me into a hug. "This is getting out of hand." That night, Claire sent me a bill, an actual, itemized bill via email with "payment due" in the subject line. $3,000 for the wedding dress that she'd ruined by wearing to a courthouse. According to her logic, I owed her the money because I'd tricked her into wearing the dress in the wrong location, therefore making it unwearable for future use. I forwarded it to my lawyer friend, who laughed so hard she said she needed a minute to breathe. "She can't actually sue you for this," my friend said when she'd recovered. "I mean, she can technically file a suit, but it would get thrown out immediately. She'd be laughed out of court." "Should I respond to it?" I asked. "Oh, absolutely. I'll help you draft something." We spent the next hour crafting a response that was polite but firm. I thanked Claire for her itemized bill and provided my own itemized bill for one wedding cake, $800, centerpieces, $300, decorations, $200, photographer booking fee that couldn't be refunded, $500, DJ deposit, $300, emergency pizza order, $900, emergency decorations from party store, $73.42, and therapy costs for dealing with family trauma, $2,000, and climbing. Total, $5,073.42. I sent it. Claire responded 30 minutes later with a string of curse words and threats to sue me for defamation. The next family event was my cousin's graduation party. Michael and I debated whether to go. On one hand, we didn't want to start skipping family stuff. On the other hand, Claire would definitely be there. "Let's go," Michael said finally. "We're not going to let her control our lives. If she starts drama, we leave. Simple as that." We showed up at the party, which was in my aunt and uncle's backyard. It was one of those warm summer days that felt like it should be in a movie. Kids running around, burgers on the grill, someone's playlist from 2015 playing through a Bluetooth speaker. Claire was there, standing near the dessert table with our parents. She saw us walk in, and her face did this thing where she looked like she might cry, but then it shifted to anger. Our parents immediately moved toward us, but Aunt Diane intercepted them. "Let the kids enjoy the party," I heard her say. "This is Matt's day, not the day to hash out your family drama." My mom looked like she wanted to argue, but my uncle backed up Aunt Diane. "She's right. Whatever issues you all have can wait until later. Today's about Matt." Michael and I made our way to the food, said hi to various relatives, congratulated my cousin Matt. We were doing fine, keeping to ourselves, when I felt a hand on my arm. It was Claire. "We need to talk," she said. Her voice was shaking. "No, we don't," I said, pulling my arm away. "Yes, we do. You ruined my life. Everyone thinks I'm some kind of monster now because of that stupid document you sent around." "You are a monster," I said. The words came out before I could stop them. "You paid people to destroy my wedding. You stole from me. You tried to ruin the happiest day of my life because you were jealous. What else would you call that?" "I was hurt," Claire said, and now she was crying. "You tricked me. You made me look ridiculous in front of strangers. You embarrassed me on purpose. I didn't trick you. I told you that you could walk down my aisle first, and you did. That's exactly what happened." "You know, that's not what I meant." Claire's voice was rising now. People were starting to look over. "I wanted a real wedding experience, not that pathetic courthouse hallway." "Then you should have gotten engaged," I said. "You should have found someone who actually wanted to marry you instead of every guy you've dated who ran away after a few weeks." "That's not my problem, Claire. That's yours." It was harsh. I knew it was harsh even as I was saying it, but I was so tired of this. Tired of Claire's drama, tired of my parents enabling her, tired of being expected to cater to her feelings while mine didn't matter. Claire slapped me, right there in my aunt's backyard, in front of 40 relatives. The sound of it was loud in the sudden silence that had fallen over the party. Michael immediately stepped between us. "Do not touch my wife. Your wife is a bitch," Claire spat. "And you're delusional," Michael shot back. "We're leaving." We left. My face was stinging where Claire had hit me, and I could feel everyone staring as we walked to the car. Nobody tried to stop us. Nobody called out an apology or asked us to stay. In the car, Michael immediately said, "We're filing a police report." "For what?" She slapped me once. "It's not like, it's assault," Michael interrupted. "And we're documenting it. All of it. The sabotage, the theft, the harassment at your work, and now this. We're building a case." "A case for what?" "A restraining order if we need one. Maybe charges for the money she stole." He was driving fast, angry. "I'm done watching her abuse you while everyone makes excuses for her." We filed a police report that night. The officer taking our statement looked increasingly concerned as we laid out everything that had happened. When we got to the slap, he said, "You have witnesses for this?" "About 40, I said. "It was at a family party. Will any of them back you up?" That was the question, wasn't it? I thought about my parents. how they'd reacted to everything so far. I thought about all the relatives who'd stayed quiet, who'd acted like this was just normal sister drama. I don't know, I admitted. Try to find out, the officer said. In cases like this, witness testimony can be crucial. That night, I sent a message to the family group chat. Just a simple question. Did anyone at Matt's party see Claire hit me today? The responses came in slowly. Some people ignored the message entirely. A few people asked what I was talking about, even though I knew they'd been right there watching. My mom sent a private message. Why are you doing this? You're tearing this family apart. But then Aunt Diane responded, I saw it. Claire slapped you after you told her the truth about her relationships. I'll give a statement if you need one. Jenna, I saw it too. I got it on video actually. I was filming Matt opening his gifts and caught the whole thing in the background. 3 of my cousins confirmed they'd seen it. Michael's family members, who'd been there, also offered to give statements. It wasn't everyone, but it was enough. The next week was a blur of paperwork and phone calls. The bank confirmed that Claire had made unauthorized withdrawals and they were pursuing it as fraud. The police were investigating the assault. Michael and I met with a lawyer about the possibility of a restraining order. My parents called every day, begging me to drop everything. She's your sister, my mom kept saying. Family forgives family. Family shouldn't commit crimes against family. I responded every time. You're being vindictive, my dad said during one call. You're trying to destroy your sister's life because you're still mad about a wedding prank. It wasn't a prank, Dad. It was coordinated sabotage that cost us thousands of dollars. And she assaulted me in front of witnesses. She barely touched you, he said dismissively. You're blowing this out of proportion. I hung up on him, and then I blocked both of my parents' numbers. Michael supported the decision immediately. You don't need that kind of negativity, he said. If they can't see what Claire did wrong, that's their problem, not yours. The bridesmaids started reaching out about a month after the wedding. First Jessica, then Ashley, then Brittany. All of them had similar messages. They didn't know Claire was serious. They thought it was just a harmless prank. They never meant for things to get so out of hand. They were really sorry. Jessica's message was the longest. Hey, so I've been thinking a lot about what happened at your wedding. I want you to know that I feel terrible about my part in it. Claire told us you'd stolen her wedding plans and used them for yourself, and that you'd been gaslighting her for months. She made it sound like you were this terrible person who deserved to be taken down a peg. I know now that she was lying, but at the time, I really believed her. I'm sorry I didn't question it more. I'm sorry I didn't come to you first. The money she promised never came through, by the way. She only paid us each $500 up front, and now she's ghosting all of us. She's also threatening us for talking too much about what happened. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I wanted you to know that I realize I messed up. I blocked her. I blocked all of them. Whatever guilt they were feeling, whatever consequences they were facing from Claire, that wasn't my problem to fix. They'd made their choices. Lauren was the only one who didn't reach out with an apology. Instead, she sent, "You're pathetic. You know that? Making your sister out to be some kind of criminal just because you can't handle a little wedding drama. Grow up." I blocked her too, but I saved the message, just in case. The bank investigation took 6 weeks. They determined that Claire had committed fraud by using the joint account without authorization for personal expenses. They were pursuing criminal charges. My parents tried to intervene, offering to pay back the money if I dropped the complaint, but the bank explained that wasn't how it worked. Once they'd opened an investigation, it was out of my hands. Claire got arrested. It happened on a Tuesday morning. I know because my mom called from someone else's phone, crying hysterically about how I destroyed my sister's life. She destroyed her own life, I said, my voice empty of emotion. I just documented what she did. She's your sister, my mom screamed. How can you do this to family? She committed fraud, Mom. She stole from me. She coordinated an attack on my wedding. She assaulted me at a family party. What part of that says family to you? My mom hung up. I sat on the couch next to Michael, who'd heard the whole thing on speakerphone, and tried to figure out how I was supposed to feel. I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. I just felt empty. You did the right thing, Michael said quietly. Then why does it feel so awful? Because they're your family and you wanted them to be better than this. But they're not, and that's not your fault. Claire ended up pleading guilty to a reduced charge of petty theft. She got probation, community service, and had to pay restitution. No jail time, which, honestly, I was fine with. I didn't want her in prison. I just wanted her to leave me alone. The restraining order got approved 2 weeks later. Claire couldn't come within 500 feet of me, Michael, our home, or our workplaces. She also couldn't contact us directly or through third parties. My parents stopped calling after that. I'd get the occasional text from my mom's new number, usually something vague about missing me or wishing things were different. I rarely responded. It hurt less than I expected. Maybe I'd been grieving the loss of them long before any of this happened. We were 8 weeks out from the wedding when the final piece of fallout hit. One of the bridesmaids, I think it was Brittany, but I'm not entirely sure, reached out through a mutual friend. She wanted me to know that Claire had never paid any of them the full amount she'd promised. She'd given them each $500 up front, but the remaining $1,500 never materialized. Now Claire was threatening them, saying if they talked about what happened or gave statements to the police, she'd sue them for defamation. She wants to know if you'd be willing to talk, the mutual friend said when she called me. Not to apologize or anything. She wants to know if you have any legal standing to go after Claire for the money Claire owes her. Tell her that's not my problem, I said. Then, because I was feeling petty, tell her maybe she shouldn't have taken money to commit crimes. The mutual friend laughed. Fair enough, I'll pass that along. Actually, I said before she could hang up, tell her if Claire is threatening her, she should document everything and consider filing a police report. Threats are illegal. Will do. A few days later, I heard through the grapevine that one of the bridesmaids had indeed filed a police report against Claire for threatening her. I don't know what came of it. I blocked anyone connected to that whole mess and stopped checking social media for updates. Michael and I went low contact with most of my family. We still saw Aunt Diane and Jenna and a few cousins who'd been supportive. Everyone else, including my parents, we just didn't talk to anymore. Nobody showed up demanding reconciliation. Nobody staged an intervention. They just let us go. It hurt, but it was also freeing. We could just be ourselves without walking on eggshells or managing Claire's feelings or mediating family drama. We adopted a dog, a goofy golden retriever we named Pancake. We found a new apartment with a balcony. We started planning actual trips and dinners and date nights without wondering if Claire would show up and make a scene. About 3 months after the wedding, a package arrived at our apartment. No return address, just my name and our apartment number in handwriting I didn't recognize. Michael wanted to throw it away without opening it, worried it might be from Claire, but I convinced him to at least check it. Inside was a scrapbook, not a fancy one, just a basic photo album from a drugstore. On the first page was a note from Aunt Diane. These are from your actual wedding. I know the professional photographer never happened, but a bunch of us took photos on our phones. I gathered them all together and made this for you. You deserve to remember the good parts of that day. The rest of the album was full of photos from the reception. Michael and me cutting into an imaginary cake, dancing to Josh's makeshift DJ setup, laughing with friends over pizza. Michael's family hanging decorations. Me crying laughing at something one of my college roommates said. The two of us standing in front of those cheap plastic decorations looking absolutely ridiculous and completely happy. There were no photos of the destroyed cake or the broken centerpieces. No pictures of my parents leaving or Claire screaming in the parking lot. Just the good stuff, the real stuff. I sat on the couch and flipped through it while Michael looked over my shoulder. We didn't say anything, just looked at the pictures and remembered a day that had started as a disaster and somehow turned into something perfect anyway. We should send her a thank you card, Michael said finally. We should send her a fruit basket, I corrected. And maybe some wine. Really good wine. We did both. Aunt Diane called a few days later to say the gifts had arrived and she'd cried when she read our note. You kids deserved a better start, she said. But for what it's worth, I think you're going to be okay. She was right. We were okay. Better than okay, actually. The wedding drama faded into an absurd story we'd tell at parties. The kind of thing that sounded made up, but we had receipts to prove every word. Some people didn't believe us until we showed them the security footage of Claire in her courthouse dress, pounding on doors and ranting about how younger siblings shouldn't get married first. 6 months after the wedding, I finally unblocked one of the bridesmaids, just Jessica, because she'd been my friend the longest and I was curious what had happened with the whole Claire situation. She sent me a novel of a message explaining everything. Turned out Claire never paid any of them the full amount. She'd given them each $500 up front and promised the rest after the wedding, but after everything blew up and Claire got arrested, she'd ghosted all of them. Ashley had tried to take her to small claims court for the money she was owed, but Claire argued she shouldn't have to pay since the job wasn't completed successfully. The judge apparently laughed at that and ruled in Ashley's favor, but Claire still hadn't paid. She was violating court orders left and right. Jessica also mentioned that the other bridesmaids were dealing with their own fallout. Employers finding their social media posts about the sabotage, friends cutting them off. One of them had been fired from her job after someone sent their boss the videos of them destroying the cake. I know I don't deserve your sympathy, Jessica wrote, and I'm not asking for it. I just wanted you to know that actions have consequences, and we're all learning that the hard way. I'm sorry for my part in everything. If I could go back and do things differently, I would. I read it twice, then closed the message without responding. Maybe someday I'd forgive her, but it wasn't going to be today. Some things you just couldn't come back from, no matter how sorry you claim to be. Michael got a promotion at work, which meant better health insurance and more savings for the house we wanted to buy eventually. We started looking at listings online, dreaming about backyards and guest rooms and maybe, someday, a nursery. It felt like we were finally moving forward instead of constantly looking back at the mess Claire had made. The restraining order was up for renewal after a year. We went to the hearing fully prepared to extend it, but the judge informed us that Claire had moved out of state. She'd gone to Arizona to live with some distant relatives, trying to start over where nobody knew about the wedding sabotage or the arrest. Do you still want the order extended? The judge asked. Michael and I looked at each other. We'd talked about this possibility, what we'd do if Claire left. On one hand, having the legal protection felt necessary. On the other hand, she was gone. We could finally breathe. Yes, I said. I want it extended. The judge approved it without hesitation. Given the pattern of behavior documented here, I think that's wise. We walked out of the courthouse, the same courthouse where we'd gotten married, where Claire had paraded around in her ridiculous dress thinking she was living some kind of fairy tale. It felt like closing a chapter. Not a happy ending exactly, but an ending nonetheless. My mom tried to reach out once more about a year and a half after the wedding. She sent a letter through Aunt Diane since I'd blocked all her other methods of contact. It was long, rambling, full of accusations about how I'd destroyed our family, how Claire was struggling in Arizona, how I needed to forgive and forget because that's what family does. At the end, she wrote, "When are you going to stop punishing your sister for one mistake?" I read it once, then put it through our paper shredder. Michael watched me do it and didn't say anything, just pulled me into a hug. "Not one mistake," I said into his shirt. "Months of planning and execution. Theft, sabotage, assault. That's not one mistake. That's a pattern." "I know," he said. "You don't have to justify it to me." I never responded to my mom's letter. If she wanted to think I was the villain in this story, that was her choice. I knew the truth. More importantly, the people who mattered knew the truth.